Aloha guys, my name is Amber. I'm going to be talking to you about unpaid internships. I would like to begin by asking you a simple question. How many of you would be willing to work full-time without ever receiving a paycheck? I'm assuming not very many of you would. But as it turns out, a lot of college students around the country are falling into a trap due to a lack of entry-level positions in a variety of fields. This trap has a name, and it's called the unpaid internship. While many people have come to believe that an internship, even if it is unpaid, is beneficial in the career search, recent studies are showing that an unpaid internship actually rarely leads to a paid position later on. And they're not only draining financially, but they can be in violation of some federal labor laws as well. So in this presentation, I'm going to give you some information about common misconceptions about unpaid internships, give you some examples of why they're not necessarily beneficial, and also give you some information about what's being done currently to change the system. So when a lot of people hear the word internship, they think work experience, resume builders, all that kind of stuff. And they think about the all work no play mentality where you have to start from the bottom and work hard to get to the top. But a lot of them don't consider the all work no pay mentality. And a lot of students suffer through trying to struggle to pay bills while they're trying to tackle an unpaid internship. And it's not fair. A lot of companies are actually taking advantage of students and using them for free labor. And a lot of students don't know that this is actually illegal. So there are advocates for unpaid internships. They like to use arguments like only resume experience available to freshly graduated college students may be unpaid internships. And that if a company wanted to pay someone to do the work, then they would just hire someone who had experience to begin with, which would take those positions away from college students who want the experience. These are good arguments, but a lot of students still can't afford to do that kind of work without being compensated. A lot of the advocates for unpaid internships focus on the experience is what matters, you can build a financial future later, and that often leaves college students in a lot of debt that they can't necessarily handle. It puts a big drain on the economy as well. Due to rising interests on the subject, they've actually been doing a lot of studies about how internships can affect your marketability in the future career search. And the National Association of Colleges and Employers did a survey of about 9,000 students, and they found some pretty interesting results. They found that about 63% of students who were offered a paid internship were also offered a paying position at the end of the internship. And only about 37% of students who took an unpaid internship were given that same opportunity. And the interesting thing is that students who had no internship experience were still offered jobs at a rate of 35%, which is almost the same as students who took the non-paid internship. You can see in this figure right here, it illustrates that for you. The blue bars are the paid interns, the red is unpaid, and green is no internship experience. And a lot of people think maybe it's biased across the different fields and that different fields hire people in different ways, but they expanded the study to cover all different majors, and you can see from this figure, which uses the same color scheme as before, blue is paid interns, and red is unpaid, and you can see that the results were similar across all different career fields, that the paid interns were hired at a much higher rate. They took the investigation further to look at the starting salaries for these different interns as well. They found that the paid interns were offered salaries around $52,000 a year, whereas unpaid interns were offered salaries only about $36,000 a year. And the interesting thing is that students without any internship experience at all were also offered about $37,000 a year. So it wasn't any more beneficial to have the unpaid internship than to have no internship experience at all, which this figure can also show you. The blue, again, is paid interns and the red is unpaid. So a lot of things are actually being done to try and fix this. In 2010, the Department of Labor passed the Fair Labor Standards Act. This gives criteria for businesses to meet before they can offer a position without compensating the employee. And these criteria are pretty specific to eliminate any misuse of the unpaid internship, which is still happening pretty commonly, actually. But these criteria state that the internship has to be similar to training and be given in an educational environment, and that it has to be beneficial to the intern. It also can't replace a paid employee. So the paid employees are specifically training the intern. You can't use the intern as an employee. It also states that the employer does not benefit directly from the internship, and that operations may even be hindered in the training of this employee because that's the focus of the internship. It also states that the intern cannot be guaranteed a position at the end of the internship, and that they both agree that no wages will be given for the internship time. And a lot of internships don't meet all of these criteria. Specifically in the media and film industry, a lot of them hire unpaid interns in violation of these laws. A lot of class action lawsuits are actually coming out of it now. For example, the Fox Entertainment Group, in the production of the Black Swan film, they hired a lot of unpaid unpaid interns who are now trying to get their due minimum wage for the time that they spent, because a lot of the tasks they were doing were not specifically related to advancement in their career field. So they are entitled to that money. And a lot of people don't know all of the laws associated with it, but there are websites such as internlaborrights.com that can give information on the subject, and also give updates about what's being done currently and what kind of lawsuits are being pursued at this time. All of these points state that unpaid internships are good for the experience. They're valuable, or they can be in certain situations, but your time and labor are also very valuable. And unpaid internships can't necessarily jumpstart your career the same way a paid internship can. A lot of them are also structured to unfairly defy labor laws. Many people see this as a good opportunity to gain experience, but they may actually hold you back from pursuing your career field in other ways, because they take a lot of time and you're not compensated. I think too many students don't realize that they have certain rights, and the current system has convinced the majority that the way it is the way it needs to be. But as Ross Perlin said in his New York Times article on the subject, interns know that they're starting at the bottom, but they still need employers to help them or meet them halfway. That's only fair. Working your way to the top doesn't have to mean working for free, and it's about time that that changes in our workforce and our labor system. So thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. Aloha!